yeah, that seems absolutely fine. So I'm back with the spares and repairs plus 2 from the last video, and as that went, it turns out it was repair rather than spares. So we took a computer that wouldn't start up properly at all, and now it seems to work just fine. I've had me Div MMC plugged into it, I've been playing games on it, and it seems to work just beautifully. So now I want to take care of a few other little things. First of all, let's have a look at that wobbly tape deck, because although it does work and it is loading games, that's not right at all. Secondly, I want to do a bit of preventative maintenance on it, so things like the recapping, that sort of thing. And thirdly, and probably most importantly for my own health, is I want to clean this thing up, because it's absolutely revoltingly dirty. And you're probably looking at it on the screen now and thinking, well, it doesn't look that bad. Trust me, it's that bad. It's not the worst one I've seen, but it's pretty grim. So it's going to be a strip down and a wash for a lot of parts as well. So let's dig into it. So I don't think I put the screws back in it last time, because I knew I'd be going back into it again, so it should just pop open. Of course, the heatsink hooks around the tape machine, and then, oh, there we go, got it. Right, we just unplug the tape deck. Unplug the keyboard. Let's just get rid of that for now, because I want to have a look at the tape deck. So yeah, that is the best way I've ever seen anyone fix a tape deck ever. That's brilliant. That really is ingenious. This person, they've had a fault with the tape deck, the drive belt's worn out and they've not had a spare drive belt, so yeah, they've used 2 elastic bands. So that explains why it's so wobbly. But that's brilliant. I love things like this. That is somebody just desperate to keep their computer running. They've not had the parts to fix it properly and they've done this. Yeah, phenomenal little work around that. I do like a good bodge. I mean, I did actually manage to get some software loaded as well, so it does work. And is it really a bad idea if it works? I mean, not a lot of software loaded, but I mean, it does kind of work, if not sound a bit wobbly, but oh god, that's brilliant. That's superb. Although going forward, I won't be using them. So, apologies to the previous owner. I will be replacing the elastic bands with drive belts, because that is... yeah, that is springy. But what would you expect? Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. Before I even get to the tape deck though, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this case apart, just so I can get it in the wash, because it's filthy. So let's start by taking the keyboard and the tape deck out. So it should be a fairly quick process. That, and there's a little screw hiding under there. These are all bits that I'm going to go and throw in the wash now, I think. Well, obviously, I need to strip the keyboard down a little bit further as well, because that's going to be really, really gross in there. But the top half of the case, that can just go straight into some soak, along with the bottom half of the case. I'll just take the motherboard out as well. How can I describe how gross this is? It's probably easier if I just show you. So I did use a microscope to capture a little bit of footage, just so you can see. Because it looks a little bit dusty on the camera, but it really is filthy, this thing. I just want you to see how dirty this is. And if you're eating anything at the moment, may I suggest you just stop the video for now? Because you might not want to do that while you're eating. Yeah, so my microscope doesn't actually have a microphone on it, so I'm just sort of dubbing this over after I've taken the footage. But yeah, this is a close-up of the keys, the J key in this case. And yeah, what looks like harmless sort of little bit of fluffy dirt, when you get right into it, that's pretty disgusting, really. I mean, it looks like I don't know, it looks like some sort of growth with all sorts of horrible bits and mouse pubes and god knows what else in there, really. I don't know where this has been stored, but it might have been in maybe an attic or a shed or something, I don't know, to get that sort of grimy. Top of the keys looks okay. It looks like they've all had a bit of a wipe down on the top, but when you get close into it, you can really see the dirt. That is the spacebar there, and some lovely brown and black stains. I don't even want to guess what they are. It doesn't look particularly pleasant. This is why I was washing my hands every time I touched it. So over to the Sinclair logo, and you can see where the case has been wiped over, but it hasn't been cleaned in between the lettering, so that's pretty grim. I mean, the only thing I could really do with this is give it a really good soak in some hot water, which is what I ended up doing. Over to the ZX Spectrum badge, much the same. So even where the raised lettering isn't, you can still see the black filthy marks of whatever has been growing or splashed on top of this case. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I hope no one's eating at the moment anyway. So this is why I like to give my computers a really thorough clean when I get them, and then I know going forward that any dirt that's left on them, well, that's my dirt. And now we're over to the tape deck. So these are the record and play buttons, looking between them. That's looking absolutely revolting. And yeah, there's all sorts of hairs and suspicious brown stains and all sorts over it. Yeah, might not have been the smartest thing going in with a microscope, but that's what I did. So yeah, it's pretty grim at this point, pretty furry. Yeah, sorry, I know that was gross. Apologies for that, but you see what I'm up against now, can't you? It's not the cleanest thing in the world. But by far not the worst one I've had either. No, that little trophy goes to an Econ Electron I bought a few years ago, which had creepy crawly things living in it, but never mind. That came out nice, so I don't see why this shouldn't either. So let's just take this keyboard apart. So normally with these Amstrad keyboards, you just pop the little pop clips along the base plate and then you can remove the membrane. With the early Plus 2s, you've just got these additional little screws as well, but that's not a problem. I'll take those out. And then it should just be a case of popping these clips. So I'm very careful because it's brittle 30-year-old plastic. Seems to be going alright. They usually do. I've not broken one yet. There we go. Nice and gently does it. So that's that plate out the way. The membrane, this is usually where it gets disgusting, to be honest. So, well, not bad. Oh, not bad at all. That's pretty clean. I would say somebody's been in and cleaned that, actually. Because that's looking pretty good. The keyboard's disgusting, but what's underneath it? That's looking okay. A little wipe and that'll be fine. Normally it's thick with dust, and that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a load of dust bunnies to fall out, and they haven't. Well, that's encouraging. Yeah, I wonder if somebody's been in and cleaned that, because I've never seen one that clean before yet. Anyway, let's put that to one side. So for the keys, I'm just going to pop these out from the underneath, and I'm just going to push back a couple of tabs just to remove them. I don't like using key pullers on Amstrad keyboards. I don't think it's good for them particularly. So you pop them out from underneath and then you can remove the spring. Just like that. In fact, let me go and get a couple of tubs. It's probably the best thing to do. So, springs in one, keys in the other, and let's just go for it. Some of the keys, they do have these stabiliser bars, but that's not really an issue if you just flat-bladed screwdrivers, give them a little twist, and they usually just pop right out. Pretty simple. I'll just put them somewhere safe. Yeah, say pretty simple and I can't get hold of it, but there it goes. Okay, I'm just going to go around and pop all these keys out. So, take me a few minutes, but it'll be a few seconds for you. Oh, right, I'm just going to go for a quick tetanus shot, and then we'll get all this in the wash. Oh, do you know this little device here has just paid for itself so many times, this little jewellery cleaner, little ultrasonic. Great for cleaning keys up, and I'm just using water and a little bit of detergent. Really all you need. And I'll probably get about half the keys in. Give them the space to move around. And we'll set that cooking. And we'll give that a few cycles and see how they come out. It's all the keys washed and just waiting for them to dry now, and then I can reassemble the keyboard. All the keys except for the ones on the tape deck, which are still pretty grim. So I think I'm going to take those off as well. I mean, maybe I should leave them on and clean them in place, but honestly I really want to get them in the ultrasonic because they're disgusting, and I want to make sure they're completely clean. So it's like the Plus 2A keyboard, if it's like the Plus 2A tape deck, the keys come out pretty easily. There's a bar that they ride on which needs to be slid out, and there's a little clip on this side that I just need to remove, and that should allow me to do that. So provided I can get that off without sending it into orbit. That's moving. There it goes. So that's the clip out. And then the bar, it should just push out. Might need to put a bit of lube on it. It might just go. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Yeah, they're pretty grim. Is that going to focus? There we go. Okay, let's give those a clean up, and then we can service the tape deck as well. Let's have a look what comes off these. So I've got some nice clean soapy water. Oh, that's nasty. It is so much easier to clean the heads on a tape deck when you actually remove it from the case. So let's do that now. So I've just got a microfiber cloth and just a little bit of IPA. So let's give them a little scrub. They don't look too bad actually. They look as though they might have been recently cleaned anyway. Let's just give it a little bit. I've already gone ahead and I've already cleaned out the bottom of the unit because that was just full of fluff as well where the keys were. So yeah, a bit more squirty stuff. There's a bit of controversy on whether or not you should use IPA on the capstan wheel, but I always do. I've never had a problem. Okay, they're probably good enough. They don't need much. Right, I think what I'll do while I've got the unit out, and just for some preventative maintenance, I'm going to just change the capacitors on the board, the electrolytics, because they're 30 years old and they may have dried out a little bit. So I'll zip through, I'll change those, and then, well, I can go back in the case, I suppose. And a lovely clean case. So the tape deck can go back into it now. I've changed all the caps. So let's get that done. Let's get the LED in first, I suppose. Oh, bugger, do you know what I've not done? Put the keys back on. Yeah. Works better when it's got the keys, doesn't it? Let's put those back on next, actually. Right, clearly I'm losing the plot, so let's put this back together. Let's just get this bar and give it a little bit of grease. Helps the keys ride a bit smoother, and frankly it makes it easier to put back together as well, so it doesn't need much. Thin covering. There we go. Right. Right, let's try and do this in the right order, shall we? So where is my record? There it is. That's the first one. So much fun doing this around a camera, I've got to say. Play. It'll be that one. Then it's going to be rewind. Nope, that's fast forward upside down. That's rewind. God. In my defence, it's very, very early in the morning before I start work, so just trying to get a few things done. Right. Now fast forward. Stop eject. Oh, you awkward little... There you go. And pause. Interestingly, the pause button on this doesn't work because the pause latching mechanism is actually missing. That's not uncommon. Because what tends to happen is it tends to fail and then it jams the mechanism up. So most people just rip it right out. Seems to be what's happened in this case. That's fine. Who needs pause anyway? Okay, they're in. I'm just going to get this clip back on off camera because I want to get in really close to do it, and then it can go back in the case. Now it can go back in the case. Dear. I can line it up anyway. Okay, last but not least, goodbye elastic bands, you've done a sterling job, but it's time to go, I'm afraid, because we have some actual drive belts. Well, here we are. That's got to work better, hasn't it? Right, I've got some clean keys, so what do you reckon? Reassembly? Let's do it. There we are, that's better. So, keyboard's back together, and for the first time in a long time probably, it's clean. Oh, we're on the final stretch now, so just the motherboard to look at. So what I need to do is I need to take the motherboard out. I need to wash the bottom case, actually. I've not done that yet. And then I'm just going to quickly zip through and recap this board, clean the edge connector, and then the whole thing can go back together then. We should be good. So let's just get this out. So, I know the issue of recapping can be a bit of a controversial one. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know why people get so passionate about it, you know. But they do. Some people say it's worth doing. Some people say you don't really need to. You know what? If it's your equipment, you do you. But personally, I like to change them. I think 30-year-old capacitors may well have dried out to a certain degree. So, I don't think it does any harm to change them. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll do that while the bottom of the case is soaking. Clean the edge connector, and hopefully that's the end of it. All done. All recapped. Nice shiny new ones. And I've even cleaned up the edge connector. Although it's still showing a little bit of corrosion, but hey. Gone through all the sockets with a bit of contact cleaner. I think I'm done with the board, so let's put it back together. So there we go. It's all back in its case. And yeah, it's looking a lot better. It's looking a lot crisper, a lot cleaner. Well, it is a lot cleaner, I assure you. Oh yeah, it looks the part now. And oh yeah, that was the other thing. I've changed the power LED for a green one because I wanted to. That's why. Apart from that, it's all standard. Just cleaner. That crack is still there. Don't mind that. That's just a little bit of damp from when I washed the case, which was yesterday actually, but it's still drying out there. The rest of it's dry. Keys on the tape deck. Much brighter. And yeah, it's all buttoned up. All fully working. So yeah, I want to test out the tape deck now, because I'm hoping that that's going to work a little bit better. I'll use the same tape I used before. Let's see how that comes out. Oh, already that's better. Yeah, that's nice and steady now. That seems to be working considerably better. So there you go. I think I'm done with it now. I don't need to do any more work to it. It all seems fully functional. It's loading software without sounding like some weird 1950s sci-fi sound effect. Although I kind of like the effect. It's definitely going to be loading software a lot more reliably now. All in all, yeah, it's a neat little machine. So yeah, thanks as always for watching, and I'll probably catch you on the next one, whatever that may be. I don't know. I'll try and do something that isn't Spectrum related, because my channel's starting to sound like a bit like a Spectrum channel now, isn't it? What have I got? I've got a PS3 that needs looking at. Oh, I'll tell you what I have got. Hang on. Just let me dig it out. I've got this bloody thing. I don't know if people are interested in unboxings and what have you, but I've got this. It's allegedly a Commodore 64. Alright, I literally bought this like 10 months ago, and I've not even opened the box yet. I don't even know if it works. I don't even know if there's a Commodore in there. But, yeah, I've never used a Commodore 64 before in my life, and I believe they were quite popular. So that could be another video. We could have a look at that, I suppose. I really should open the box, because who knows what's even in there. Hopefully what I paid for, but who knows. Yeah, does anybody else do that? You buy things and then it takes you months to get around to even opening the box. It's really bad. Yeah, I might get into that. But anyway, for the time being, I think I am just going to learn about Spectrum hardware. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.